Alright, we should be live. Or some people would say live stream, but that's not quite correct, right? Now the thing is, for the people who don't know what this stream is about, I'm not gonna play anything on this stream because this is the last Saturday of October, right? And because of that, I will go through every single poll I made in the last month, right? And we'll read the poll, the question, right, the answers, and then some of the comments. And that's what I'm gonna do for every single poll I asked, as I said, in the past month. It's something I've been doing in the past 3 months. Not a lot of these streams, but still, it's a good start in my opinion. And I'm gonna continue posting these polls, which I'm, by the way, posting every single day in the posts tab here on YouTube, on my YouTube channel, right? On this channel right here. If you have any suggestions, if you believe a poll could have been, I don't know, updated in a better way or asked in a better way, feel free to type that in the comment section of any of my polls or any of my streams, videos. I generally take suggestions from people. Some of these polls were made from suggestions and generally from what I see people talking about in the community. You will see that most of these polls are Cyberpunk related. I mean, I'm a Cyberpunk player, I'm not gonna stop posting Cyberpunk related posts or polls, but yeah, I'm gonna mention all of this at the end of the stream again. So we'll start with the next question, where we were left off last stream, because the last question from the previous stream was this one, and so we have this one. Now, would you want to be a Reaper Doc in Night City? Honestly, I was surprised by the answer. I thought more people would say no, and I'm saying that because I've seen many comments from people who do not like the idea of living in Night City. That's also why I decided to later on ask a question about would you like to live in Night City or something like that, but we'll get to that later. So let's actually look at some of these comments. But as you can see, 33,000 votes. Thank you to everyone who voted. 25% voted yes, 57% voted no, and 18% voted I don't know. Alright, so we have some of the top comments, I'm gonna go through those. So you're either on contract with a big corpo, overworked and mentally checked out, or working in a dingy, probably unsanitized room, waiting for some work or gang member to bleed on your tiles, and if you fail to heal him, their friends will try to get you. That's pretty true. Victor is an absolute badass, and only because of that he was able to be an independent Reaper Doc for so long. You are no Victor. I guess you can also look at the other side. If you succeed to heal someone, then that person is most likely gonna be indebted to you, right? They're gonna feel like they owe you something. Maybe. There are definitely gonna be people like that. For example, there is a comic where Victor is part of, where this one fixer called Cormac, you do not see him in Night City anymore, goes to Victor because he knows that Victor is not a liar or something like that. He goes to him to ask some questions. So of course you can kind of build your own rep, just like Victor did. For sure, you're not gonna be on his level. He's the best, one of the best fixers. Reaper Docs. But then again, who says you cannot build your own chain of people who trust you, who love you, and who are definitely gonna jump in for you in case something like this ever happens, right? Maybe. I wouldn't even be a street food vendor. That's actually a good question. I was thinking about asking that, and I will ask that in the future. Every job in Night City sucks one way or another. If I lived in that world, I would choose to leave this city. So yeah, that's what I was referencing earlier. Many people don't like the idea of living in Night City. So why would they like the idea of working any of these jobs? And that's fair. Want and in Night City in the same sentence is brave, not gonna lie. Yeah. Things to do in Night City. Live. That's it. I guess Cyberpunk Reaper Dogs Simulator plays like a Diner Dash game. I'd buy it. Better to be one than need one. Yeah, that's pretty true. I think that's true. That's true in real life as well. Better to be a doctor than to need one. There you have it, the first question. The second one. Would you want to live in Night City? Exactly what I was referencing earlier. And this is, of course, a question I decided to ask after reading all of these comments about people not wanting to live in Night City. For sure, it's not the only question related to the idea of working in Night City. I asked about MaxTech, I believe, working for MaxTech. Or no, that was something separate. Either way, I'm not surprised that so many people voted no. 73% out of 41,000 votes. So thank you to everyone who voted. That is crazy. Maybe I was expecting a bit more, but still pretty expected. Who saw the Torture Nexus and said, yeah, I want to go there? Night City is literally the worst city in its own verse. Yeah, I think so. I haven't heard anything about the other cities though. And based on what we've heard from the creator, Mike Pondsmith, in the next game we are supposed to visit a second city. So we'll see if that is worse than Night City. Probably not. He straight up said it was easier to catch lead than a cold in Night City. Ooh. My brother in Chrome, there is no shot I would survive an hour in the City of Dreams. 1 hour is crazy, not gonna lie. I mean, this person is exaggerating, it's kind of funny, you know, but still, I believe I could survive at least a week. Depends where though. Depends where. In my opinion, and I could be wrong about this, I haven't read the original lore, to my shame, but I believe there are some zones which are easy mode, or at least based on what we see in the game. We have North Oak, we have, I think City Center is pretty easy mode if you're a corpo. Even Japantown, Watson have... Japantown depends on how the Tiger Claws are with you. Watson has some easy mode zones within itself. Then again, I've seen people who would rather live in the Badlands. That's also an option. How would you live there, though? That's the question. Yeah, I'd rather try my luck with the nomads. At least with them, I get to have some semblance of freedom. So that's another idea, living with the nomads. If we are gonna live in a dystopia, it might as well be a cool one. Oh wow, we have a full explanation. Brother, the air quality is worse than China. The water is more polluted than India. The food is worse than Russia. Is that true? The Russian cuisine is bad? Ah, never mind. And believe you me, None but the worst of modern Earth can say they have worse living conditions. V, even at the beginning of the game, has it way better than average. Yeah, if you're gonna eat what Mama Wells cooks, that's better than average, no? I live in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, so Night City is a hell of an improvement. Absurd violence, for absurd violence, I prefer the one with cyberware. Ooh. Now, that is another perspective, no? How many of you guys live in a city which is comparable to Night City, but without cyberware? Now that is something, no? Alright. So there are definitely some arguments against living in Night City, other ones for living in Night City. It's basically Gotham, but in the future. I mean, for sure, and then I can be Batman and do that voice. Batman. Something like that. Honestly, would it be all different than many of us live already? Most of us ain't gonna be NC Legends or even Mercs, just your average chums. Which largely means the same deal as now for most of us, but with better tech. Exactly what I referenced earlier. It's kind of an interesting aspect. We already got corpos that can do pretty much anything they want, governments violating every basic right they can, or cops that would rather shoot you than talk to you, gangs and violent psychos everywhere, everything is spyware, etc. We are already well on the path to a future like Cyberpunk's, but without all the fun parts. So I guess cyberware and cyber psychos are the fun parts. Either way, interesting perspectives from all of these people. Definitely thank you to everyone who decided to leave a comment. Thank you. And so yeah, there you have it. Would you want to live in Night City? If I'm gonna make a clip out of this, tell me in the comment section. Would you actually want to live in Night City? Are you one of these people who commented that your city that you live in right now in real life is worse than Night City? Maybe. Now, a question which is very controversial. A very controversial question. Would you eat any type of pizza from Cyberpunk? This is a controversial question because it was made out of a short I posted about one of these toppings. I think it was artichoke and avocado pizza. There is a line in Cyberpunk where you can pick that type of pizza as the one you would like to eat whenever you concoct the plan with Judy and her friends. And that is locked under a cool line of dialogue. So if you have your cool level high enough, you can pick that one. And apparently that's a cool line. And some people would rather eat that instead of real pizza. Because of course, this question is about real life. And so 25,000 voted. Thank you to everyone who voted. But I only thanked the 68% who voted for real pizza. Sorry guys, but the rest of you don't know what's good. Why would you try any of these toppings? That's crazy. Locust pepperoni pizza, tofu tuna and pineapple pizza, artichoke and avocado pizza. That is crazy work, not gonna lie. Now this one is a real pizza. Italian cuisine. That is actually a pizza I had in real life. It's called Bufala. Really, really good. And so let's read some of the comments. Many people don't realize that Cyberpunk is an apocalyptic setting, no matter how futuristic everything is. Ah, so that's why you would rather eat garbage. Ah, I guess. I'll be honest. After a few playthroughs, I made artichoke and avocado pizza because it sounded kinda good. No, it didn't. And it was gas. I made a spinach and artichoke pizza and threw some avocado on top after it came out of the oven. Genuinely surprised how good it came out. Okay, we need police to come over right now and arrest this person. I'm sorry, how can you make something like that? That's an abomination, not a pizza. Now that is crazy. Of course, if you are watching this, I'm joking. You can eat whatever you want. Option 4 is for gongs? What? Option 4 is for gongs. How is that even acceptable to say? That's real pizza. I'd honestly try the tofu tuna pineapple pizza. Tofu, great. Tuna, love. Pineapple, amazing. Bread and cheese, classic combo. What's not there to love? Everything you talked about? Crazy. I'm kinda curious about the locust one. What? What do you mean you are curious about the locust one? Honestly, if I had to try any of these, I'd probably go for that one. If I was forced, or if there was no more pizza, real pizza in the world, then I would probably go for locust pepperoni. Wow, I'm a maniac. The camera wasn't turned on the shorts tab. Ah well. How much have I yapped? Anyways, it's fine. At least it all worked out in the mainstream. And I only read like 3 questions. But we have a long way to go. We are moving on to the next one. Have you collected all the iconic weapons from the stash wall in Cyberpunk? Okay, now this one was surprising because 6% of people didn't even know about it. So 6% of people didn't know that there was a stash wall in Cyberpunk. I mean, that is interesting now. 33,000 votes. Thank you to everyone who voted, by the way. Display, let me move it here. Okay. Now we are good. On the short stream. I keep forgetting to check that one. It's fine. We're at the start of the road. I'm gonna make more streams than only 3 of them, so I'll have to just pay more attention. Truth be told, I have fixed my schedule, my sleeping schedule, only for about 2 weeks. 3 weeks. So it will definitely take a lot more for me to, or it seems like it will definitely take a lot more for me to be functional, fully functional in the morning, and to pay attention to everything. Anyways, 51% still working on it. If every iconic weapon made an appearance on this wall, I'd consider it. But since they don't, I just stash the good ones and sell the ones that aren't useful to me. Okay? Cybernetic implants and quick hacks aren't cheap, bro. How much are you even gonna get for an iconic? How much do they go for? How much do they go for? 10,000? Definitely less than what you have to pay to get them. So I doubt it's very profitable. Especially if in the long run you'll want to check how one works, or you'll want to play with another playstyle. In my opinion, and many people probably don't know about this, It's much better if you simply go in Pacifica and farm it for money. It's simply how it is. You can get 100,000 for 5 minutes of farming there. Something along those lines. I probably have a video about that on the channel, but it's definitely easy. You simply go on the beach in Pacifica, you'll find a bunch of people who spawn very fast after you kill her, after you kill them. You have to run away from that location, and then whenever you return, they are spawned back. That's simply how you do it. You farm them up until your inventory is full, and then you go at the drop box near the Pacifica safe zone. You sell everything plus 100k. That's how you farm money for cybernetics, quick hacks, and everything else you want to buy. Vehicles, right? And you repeat the process. Sure, it's kind of boring, but you can play a podcast or my videos, of course, in the background. I heard that if you play my videos, you'll have a plus 10% boost in the money you get. I don't know if that's true, but you can test it out. Okay. In my opinion, the stash wall is annoyingly inconsistent. There are at least 4 iconic katanas in game, but only a couple of these actually fill the katana slots. Similar story with other weapons. Handguns, shotguns, and sniper rifles all have more examples for slots, or than slots. But only a few very specific weapons will appear. With subsequent updates, the number of weapons that won't appear or don't even have matching slots has increased considerably. Shrug. It used to bother me a little. I like tidiness in these things, but I just play the game these days and use the stash as a stash, not a display. It's not at all what I consider a priority, but the stash wall seriously needs proper updating. In a similar spirit, V needs a photo wall for all the vehicles they accumulate. I mean, you can post images on your walls these days. That was introduced in the game. But overall, I do agree with this use of the stash. I mean, what's there to agree of? I also use it only to stash my weapons, my excess weapons, or the iconics I don't want to use, and I want to have space in my inventory. That's it. I mean, I don't really care. I don't think I ever had all the weapons on the wall. 19% of people had all the weapons. Pretty interesting. Alright. Now a controversial question, kind of. Maybe? I don't know. Do you think it takes too long to level up in Cyberpunk? 49,000 votes. Thank you to everyone who voted. 11% believe it takes too long to level up in Cyberpunk. 89% believe it doesn't take too long. Not surprising, in my opinion, it's a very fast leveling process. If I'm gonna clip this, feel free to type in the comment section, oh, you're wrong, oh, I agree with the people who voted that it's way too long to level up. But then again, we'll see what the comments are. I think the leveling is fast enough. It's good. Nah, I wish there were more flashy low level abilities, but the level progression is pretty quick. I like grinding half the gigs and then proceeding with the main story as a literal god. Yeah, if you are doing everything in Watson before the heist, you'll be high level, that's for sure. I wish street cred was actually used for something again. I mean, if you played the game, then you will know that there are a few locations with quests where your street cred actually matters. Near Mega Building 4, there is one with a few guys who want to steal a bike. Then there is another one in Watson whenever you have to talk a policewoman out of continuing her investigation. There is a conversation with a Reaper Doc you can have. These are two which I remember now. Besides that, there could be other ones, but I don't remember any other missions right now. Honestly, I'd lean to the leveling being a tad too fast if anything. I always seem to level pretty fast, just doing gigs and NCPD stuff. Yeah. I wish there was no level cap. If that's the case, then your choices don't matter when it comes to choosing abilities or perks in the ability tree, because you can choose and do everything. And so that kind of becomes meaningless as far as I see it. But then again, I think in Witcher it's unlimited. But you cannot use all the abilities. Something like that, I think. Do you want deeper netrunning mechanics in Cyberpunk 2? Cyberspace exploration as an example. I think that they should expand on the netrunning aspect in Cyberpunk. I think the guns, the way you use them is very good. And if they keep it like that, with maybe some new modifications, new attachments, that's fine. But for netrunning, I think they could expand on it and give an option for the people who want to use cyberspace exploration or go through with cyberspace exploration whenever they complete gigs, you know? An option, not something you have to do. Maybe something similar to Brain Dances, where in the first playthrough you are presented this option and shown how to use it, and in every other playthrough you don't have to, you can skip it. If they can do something like that. Depends on implementation. There is the good way to do it and a lot of really not good ways to do it. Honestly, I would love some examples. Maybe there are some replies with examples. What's the good way? I'm not seeing one. Cyberspace is ugly and all power comes from puzzles. For basic combat stuff, definitely not. It can get complicated as is. As an extra medium to simply explore and so forth, I'm open to the idea. Having specific jobs, gigs, or quests that you complete without ever leaving your apartment or whilst just sitting quietly in a cafe or your car. That does sound intriguing. Exactly what I was thinking. With the addition of cyberspace, a netrunning chair, stuff like that, definitely sounds pretty good. Maybe I'm the only one, but it seems like, or I thought I was the only one, but it seems like that's not the case. Okay, it would be cool to be able to do gigs from the net. Like, imagine having a chair at your apartment and being able to plug in and remotely screw up someplace somewhere. Possibly make it a bit more inclusive than normal hacking, but it would be awesome to eventually get your own subnet like the VDBs. Yeah, definitely. Honestly, I would be surprised what would people think about if I didn't write cyberspace exploration? Because I believe these are very cooked from that idea. Hmm. Expanding on an optional portion of netrunning, as in fully immersed in a chair. Like if you had specific gigs that were exclusively for netrunning. You could do all kinds of things, like a horror element where something from beyond the black wall haunts you, or fighting netrunners with kind of a chess-like minigame to break their ice before they break yours. Could be cool, could also turn into everything is Bridge Protocol, so I don't know. Or Bridge Protocol is. Interesting. I think I answered some of the comments here. I generally read all the comments for which I get a notification right here in the notifications tab. Ah, yeah, I replied. What a stupid question. There is no way to make cyberspace work in real-time combat. That's not what I was suggesting, no? Okay, so there you have it. Yes, voted by 77% on the idea of netrunning being expanded in Cyberpunk 2. 9% voted no, and 13% voted maybe. I guess we'll have to wait and see what CD Projekt Red is thinking about. I would be surprised if the next game is not focused on netrunning a bit. I'm thinking about the black wall, the AIs, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. And we'll have to wait and see. Okay. 19,000 votes. Thank you guys for voting on this question. Did you unlock every vehicle available for purchase in Cyberpunk? 28% voted yes. 34% voted no, or still working on it, excuse me. And 39% voted no, not interested. Not surprising, I mean, there are a bunch of vehicles, so most people would like to play the game, not farm money. I mean, I had streams where that's all I did, for the most part at least, farm money to get all the vehicles. And it's kind of boring, but not on stream. On stream it was fine, especially if I had someone in chat to talk to. Some people. I mostly had people to talk to, so that was definitely much better. I drove the baby Delamain for the entire playthrough. This is one of the best comments I've seen in my life. I even responded to it. Baby Delamain. Never heard that one before, and it's true. He doesn't even know how to drive when you get him. He's just a baby. Also, his road rage is top tier. And he doesn't make annoying AF bang noises. That's a very good comment. Thank you for commenting that, by the way. it was pretty funny, not gonna lie. Baby Delamain. I like to make a save in front of the terminal and test drive them to decide what I want. I prefer the bikes. That is smart. Honestly, that's smart. And it's something I did previously. Before we had a terminal where we could buy the vehicles because they were out in the world. You had to go to them and then buy them. I would make a save, buy it, and then test it out. That's, in my opinion, a smart thing to do. Especially if you are one of these people who's not interested in farming every vehicle. You can test out a few you like, and that's that. I keep forgetting I can drive in this game, and I just be dodge hopping throughout Night City. That's the biggest true of them all, guys. It's simply how it is. That's all I do. I jump, dodge, dash, that's all I do. Or dash, jump, double jump, dash. That's the best thing you can do. It's really fun, and I couldn't play on a character without those perks and without double jump. It's simply how it is. It's way too fun, and you should try it. You should definitely try double jumping with dashing and air dashing. Very good. I bought them all just for the achievement, but I only use like 2 cars and a free Tiger Claws bike. The one referenced here in this comment, you can get it from a garage that is opening, or you can open near the All Foods factory, the one you go to with Jackie in the beginning of the game. There is a garage. If you know the code, you can open it, get the bike. That one is tied to a quest that can trigger in 2 ways at least. There is a garage with information about this quest near the dam, or you can find a dead body in an alley, which will send you to that garage. Or garage. I'm just like Sergey, I pronounce garage instead of garage. You know, Sergey from the mission, which gives us a reference of John Wick, where we have to deliver a car from point A to point B. He also says garage. People are gonna say I'm Russian. I did have a few people in the past saying that I'm Russian, which was kind of funny. Now, here is a more general question. I do know that most people who vote on this are Cyberpunk players, but then I thought to myself, I may be a Cyberpunk player, I may enjoy Cyberpunk, but I also like gaming overall. I do like following the news, I like checking stuff, depending on events, depending on games, so I thought to myself, why not ask the community about this. Do you keep up with gaming in general, or just Cyberpunk? That means events, major releases, discussions, and other stuff. 36% voted yes, I follow gaming overall. 6% voted no, only Cyberpunk. I had to add this possible answer because, as I said, most people who interact on this are Cyberpunk players, so... And 58% depends on the game and event. And this question was after I was randomly thinking about the Game Awards. And yeah, the recent release of Ghost of Yotei, I thought about that as well, because it was talked about a lot in online spaces. I also had a response which I responded to. The Game Awards is a steaming pile of hot garbage. Their choices are so obviously biased towards large companies that pay off the judges, so awards basically mean nothing. Do you agree? I kind of do. I do agree that the voting process is shady, but they announce games during the event, so that's one reason to watch it. The Player's Choice Award is part of the Game Awards and is 100% voted by fans. Fair, the game announcements are good. I said that I agree about the voting process because 90% of the outcome is dictated by a board of people. News outlets and whoever else. 10% by the players. This is available information you can read online. And that is crazy to me. How is the game of the year gonna be voted by a handful of people instead of the community. That's why Ghost of Tsushima didn't win the Game Award, the Game of the Year award in 2020, 21, I don't know, whenever it was released, right? And it was The Last of Us. But it did win the Player's Choice Award. How is that possible? Because, yeah, the players voted. When was... Actually, let me check. Yeah, 2020, not 2021. So Ghost of Tsushima was released in 2020 together with The Last of Us, and because there is a board of people voting for the Game of the Year, we had The Last of Us winning over Ghost of Tsushima, which went on winning the Player's Choice Award. So yeah, I do agree that in some sense the Game Awards has a shady voting process. Who won the previous Game of the Year? Last year. It was such a boring game I even forgot its name. Something with a robot. I don't remember the name. Yeah, I forgot the name. That's how boring it was. Instead of Wukong. Instead of Wukong, it was a boring robot game. We'll see what's gonna happen this year. Because I think if one game in particular is gonna win, a lot of people are gonna be mad about it. I think Ghost of Yotei might win the Game of the Year award. But from what I have seen, people are most likely gonna want Expedition 33 to win. We'll see, we'll see. It's gonna be a very interesting Game of the Year in 2025. That's what I can say. There is a lot of games out there that need playing for sure, but I'll always keep coming back for Cyberpunk, chum. Oh, me too. Me too. I myself play several different games, but mostly RPG style games nowadays, since my original favorite shooters are trash. Ooh. COD and Halo. Play Counter-Strike. That's the superior shooter. Counter-Strike, guys. Counter-Strike is the best. Alright. Now this one is controversial now. And not really, but someone made a post on Reddit which got a bunch of attention. Let me see if I can pull it up. Reddit. Okay, I have it right here. This is a post which was made on Reddit. Ha, nice. Entered nicely. Okay, so this person made the post of my community poll. So thank you for doing that. Right? And it has 2.2 thousand upvotes. 600, almost 700 comments. Should there be a morality meter affecting the gameplay and lore in Cyberpunk? At the time of the post, it had 1.2 thousand votes on YouTube. Now it has 31,000 votes. So thank you to everyone who decided to comment here on YouTube, to vote, and of course, again, to this person for posting this on Reddit, and of course, all the people who interacted with this question. Kind of an interesting discussion, don't you think? Morality meter affecting the gameplay and lore in Cyberpunk 2. I was thinking obviously about Red Dead Redemption, because that's what I played last with the morality meter. And so, as you can see, 42% of people voted yes, which is kind of interesting. I did not expect that to be the case. Truth be told, I expected more people to vote no, because Cyberpunk is not a very moral place. Night City, the universe itself, not very moral, no? And so, because of that, I expected, as I said, more people to vote no. And 21% voted maybe. Not a morality meter in the traditional sense, but a dynamic reputation meter that gauges how you complete your assignments. There should be distinct reactions from people based on whether you have a reputation of dropping lots of bodies, being loud, versus stealthy. Yeah, why not? I think that could work. You expand on the street cred from Cyberpunk 1 into Cyberpunk 2, and you make it an entire system where people will have more reactions than these secluded missions you had in the first game here and there, because that's how you have it right now. A handful of missions at most where your street cred is recognized. So that can be definitely expanded upon. I'd rather see something more akin to the reputation system from Fallout New Vegas, with how factions interact, than a basic good karma, bad karma system. Now, something I remember from my New Vegas playthrough, which wasn't too long because I didn't play it fully, I started playing it and I got lost in the world. Honestly, I got lost in the world. I thought it was so immersive, so good, and the fact that multiple factions were reacting to your actions, that was also amazing. In the very beginning of the game, you have this town, which you have to protect from some bandits who escaped from a prison, and depending on what you choose, either the town will hate you or the bandits will hate you, because you can choose to side with the bandits, and that's really cool in my opinion. So definitely can see something like that in Cyberpunk 2. Depends though. We'll have to wait. We'll have to wait. There is a long wait up until the next game is released, so we'll see. Considering the lore of Cyberpunk, it wouldn't make much sense, as it's like 1 in a billion people have morals. Is that a billion? I don't know. That is true. It's exactly what I referenced earlier. Cyberpunk is not very moral. Night City, every place. I think that your street cred and how you earn it should matter more. Like a more stealthy, nimble assassin character should garner. Wow, my eyes are broken. Should garner a different reaction than an all-out aggressive bruiser or a cyberpunk wizard. Likewise, whether or not you kill, how often, and how brutally should affect your reputation as well. Agreed. Similarly to the previous comment about reputation, the street cred in Cyberpunk is pretty shallow, I would say, when it comes to the world reacting to you. And it seems like I'm not the only one thinking that something that expands on the reputation system or on the street cred is a good idea in the next game. What do people think here on Reddit? Rather a reputation gouge with each gang and corpo. New Vegas style reputation meter would be sick. Yeah, definitely something Like that would be interesting. Okay, we have an explanation of New Vegas. Better than mine, that's for sure. So there are different factions. Let me move this a bit to the side. So there are different factions and you have separate reps for each of those factions. For example, you can be a friend to one faction and an enemy to another. Also, many of those factions have alliances and rivalries between them. So if you help one faction, your reply with them or reputation maybe with them goes up, while simultaneously your reputation with the rival of that faction goes down. Also, each of the faction has their own faction questlines, which are pretty good. Late game, you also have to make choices that decide the fate of some factions, as in they live or die or something like that. The entire system is pretty good. Something I referenced earlier, for example, in that very first quest, you can either side with the bandits, which yes, it's another faction, or with the town. I think that's amazing, no? And so this idea is definitely something they should think about, because for example, we have in Cyberpunk, in Night City, there are a bunch of gangs. The Moxies cannot be touched. You can eliminate every single gang without repercussions. They don't care, basically. You can be the biggest killer of one faction, you can then be the biggest killer of the other faction, none of that matters. And so I believe people being able to choose if they want to eliminate the Moxies or if they want to side with the Tiger Claws, that should be an option. We had the entire chest or the entire quest line. I was thinking about a chest of loot. Wow, why would I say that? We had that entire quest line with the Moxies against the Tiger Claws. In a New Vegas type of system, you would be able to side with the Tiger Claws. But in Cyberpunk, we don't have that option. So that's definitely something to keep in mind, in my opinion, because it would definitely improve the next game when it comes to the gameplay aspect. From what I've seen in these comment sections, it seems like more people would like something like that. Unless it served more as a measure of how people think of you, rather than an actual measure of your morality, I'd not like it. Cyberpunk as a setting is one of moral grays. Very few things are black and white. There is no such thing as a good guy in Cyberpunk. Period. It's all about rep. Agreed. Yeah. I'm also surprised, as I said previously, I'm surprised that so many people voted yes. We'll see. Honestly, all of this, which we talked up until now, is very intriguing. And again, if you have your own questions you would like me to ask, make us pause. You can type those in the comment section. Okay, moving on. Should mega buildings be fully explorable in Cyberpunk 2? 76% voted yes. Fully explorable is a ridiculously loaded pipe dream, but I think it would have been very realistic either for other mega buildings to have an explorable area attached to them, or maybe for at least this mega building to be more real, fleshed out environment. That's 38,000 or 384,000 interiors. I mean, you're not gonna model all of them, no? 384,000 is a lot. For sure, you're not gonna model every single one to be fully explorable by the player, but I've seen people saying that you can have an entire game in one mega building. Sure, that can be the case, but why not have multiple quest chains inside a mega building? You can explore multiple sections of the mega building, not only one area and that's it. For example, in Cyberpunk, we have the lower section of the mega building fully modeled out, but you cannot go there because it's a death area. Why can't we have at least one mega building which has multiple floors that we can go to, with multiple people we can interact, and multiple quests that can play out from that? Even Dying Light has more floors in that tower that we can explore. I think that's a good gameplay aspect. Truth be told, that's the only gameplay aspect, or one of the only gameplay aspects of that game, or where you can get quests. But I think in Cyberpunk, if they introduced something like that, it would definitely be very good. So yeah, I would definitely love something like this, where they make it so we have at least one fully explorable mega building. And again, not all of these interiors, 384,000, but a good amount. Would you want cyberpsychosis to be part of the gameplay and story in Cyberpunk 2 or story? 30,000 votes. Thank you to everyone who voted. Yes, 85% voted yes. To be fair, in Cyberpunk 2077, we are technically already playing as a cyberpsycho, but with slightly different circumstances as opposed to the way cyberpsychosis usually is. I think they can expand on that. They can make it so you can actually go cyberpsycho and have implications in the lore. In lore, cyberpsychosis is a blanket term. There is no real bar or line for how it's defined, and Johnny himself is a cyberpsycho. Is that true? He recounts how the Silverhand makes decisions for him, oftentimes being an excuse for him to kill people otherwise would have qualms with killing. He, in a sense, might be a cyberpsycho already, and it's simply not explored, though I would love to see it explored more in first person in the second game. So whenever I made this question, I was thinking about a character which doesn't have the same protections V has, because as we know, in Cyberpunk, V having the relic protects them from going cyberpsycho after all of those cyberware improvements. Johnny acts as a buffer against cyberpsychosis, but even then, you can hear the cyberpsycho laugh whenever you have the Edge Runner perk, I believe, and you kill a bunch of people. Your character, V, male or female, will start laughing, and your screen will go yellowish. I think that is really cool, and something they can expand upon. They can expand upon that in the next game for sure. How would that look like? I think it should be related to the story in a way. The simple idea is for the character, as I said, to not have the same protections V has, but we'll see. Should life paths have a bigger influence in Cyberpunk 2 compared to 2077, and if added? 93% voted yes. So definitely, everyone would like to see an expansion on the life paths, if they are gonna add them. Phantom Liberty showed us what was possible. Let's hope the trend continues and we get entire missions or plot deviations based on background. Yeah. If they do bring it back, they need to actually implement it for more than just a prologue and speech checks and one unique quest. Yeah, it's pretty shallow. Honestly, Corpo had more impact than any other life path. Yeah, Corpo has the most amount of special lines of dialogue as far as I know. Hmm. Unpopular opinion, I know, but I'm happy with how the life paths in Cyberpunk were implemented in Cyberpunk 2077. I'm glad that ultimately it's our choices through dialogues that determine the outcomes of the stories we are in, rather than the life path we chose at the very beginning. I think the life paths are more like races in fantasy games, and we even got pretty lengthy intros for them, which we don't get in most fantasy games races, even in Baldur's Gate 3. Depends. If you are playing World of Warcraft, then in that one you have a special intro for every race. The first two zones are specifically made for that race. You can definitely, yeah, this person did say most of them, but still, they can definitely expand. 30 minutes or 20 minutes to complete the intros for every life path is way too little. And then you have one unique line or one unique quest for each of these life paths, and the lines of dialogue are not equally distributed. Corpo has the most of them, as I said, then probably Street Creed. I could be wrong about that one, but either way, way too little for how much they advertised them. They advertised the life paths a lot, if you remember. So I'm definitely hoping that if they continue with life paths in the next game, they are gonna expand on that. But maybe they are gonna move away from life paths so they can use all of that time to expand on other gameplay aspects of the game. We'll have to wait and see. Thank you to everyone who voted, by the way. Have you completed every NCPD scanner in Cyberpunk? 48% voted yes, 37% voted still working on it, and 16% of people voted no, not interested. Honestly, I'm surprised that not that many people voted for the third answer. I expected more people to not care, but I do remember replying to a few people here who believed that these respawn. Every single one, and it was all worth to just buy 2 guns from the black market vendor. The guns which were related probably to the organized crime activities? I don't know. It sucks that there is only a limited amount of them. I wish they'd respawn after a while so you can do them again if you wanted to. I disagree. Maybe I'm in the minority, but personally, and this is the same thing with Skyrim. If I complete one of these locations, I want that location to be completed forever. If I defeat bandits in one camp in Skyrim, I'm thinking I want that camp to no longer be usable by them, or that location to change. In Cyberpunk, for example, if you eliminate some of these gangs from certain locations, those locations will be populated by NPCs. doing new stuff. The same goes in Witcher, where if you eliminate certain certain bandits, or certain monsters, then that area becomes available and usable by NPCs. Some merchants become available only because you liberated that area. It's much better than simply having that same location respawn. Maybe that's only me. You have unlimited airdrops these days, unlimited races, unlimited car deliveries. I think that's good enough, no? They're not hard. There is just so damn many of them. As someone who completed all of those on multiple characters, at least on 5 characters, I can definitely say that I kind of agree with this person. But if you sit down and only do that, then it will probably take you a couple of hours maybe to do all of them on easy, of course. If you're doing it on easy, Fenrir rifle or SMG, I mean, that's a personal preference. I like using that because I can just jump, double jump, dash, air dash, a few bullets on one NPC, another 3 bullets on another one, and it's a very fast process, and you have to go to all of these locations, so it's definitely something that can be completed pretty fast, I would say. Alright. Out of these major games released by CD Projekt Red, which ones have you played? 34,000 votes. Thank you to everyone who voted. Now here, guys, you do not know how to read a simple poll. I have seen people who believe that only 1% of people who voted played Witcher. That's not the case, because 51% of people voted that they played both games. So not only that they played Cyberpunk, but also Witcher. And if you don't believe me, just look in the comment section. There are some people who believe that only 1% voted because only 1% played. Alright, so surprisingly, 51% of people played both of these games, major releases. That's why you do not see Gwent. I added neither as 1% because I was curious how many of people who vote on these never actually played these games. Now I wonder how many of you recognize this image right here. Not the word neither, that's written by me, but what's this image taken out of? It's a larger image. I took a small part of it and I then wrote neither on it. I'm curious how many of you will recognize it. I don't think it's very hard to recognize, but we'll see. Both are joined for my favorite games of all time. They made 2 masterpieces. Can't believe many hasn't played Witcher 3 at this time. It's like the magnum opus of CD Projekt Red. Yeah. 52% is not bad. I'm upset of that 1% people who played The Witcher 3. Game is a masterpiece. 53% of people played Witcher 3. 1% only played Witcher. Yeah, that was my reaction as well. People not understanding the result of the poll. Believing that only 1% of people who voted on the poll played Witcher. But in actuality, yeah, you see this answer right here. Anyways. moving on. So there you have it. Who did you play as in Cyberpunk? 58,000 votes. Thank you guys. This is probably the most voted poll I ever did. 58,000 votes. Female V 22%, male V 42%, and both 36%. I'm kind of surprised, but at the same time this confirms something to me, and that's the fact, or maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong and I only saw a low amount of people, but I remember that in the beginning, whenever Cyberpunk was first released, most people were speaking about playing with female V. They loved the voice acting, they wanted to see something that looks good on screen or something like that. I have seen these reasons, so definitely in the very beginning of Cyberpunk, from what I have seen, it seemed like most people played female V. Apparently, if that was the case, well, it no longer is, because out of 58,000 votes, 42% of people played only male V. Definitely interesting. Now it explains why so many people, I see so many people posting comments on the shorts I make about the voice acting. They post comments how male V is superior to female V in terms of voice acting, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, definitely an interesting result in my opinion. And we have a bunch of comments. One of the things I love about Cyberpunk is that there are differences in personality of the male and female options. Something that almost no other RPG does, and that brings a lot of life to your character in game. Depends who you ask, I think. I do agree that there is a difference in personality. From what I've seen, people have different different understandings or different ideas of the differences between their personalities, and I'm basing this comment on what I see people again posting on those shorts related to voice acting between male and female V. I see some people interpreting it differently, saying that female V is a psycho on one short, female V is sarcastic, the voice acting, right? As opposed to male V being more serious, more cold, stuff like that, you know? But it sometimes changes, sometimes these interpretations change. Or at least the people who comment change. Maybe that's the fact. If you are gonna ask me about which character I played both of them. Multiple times, I mean. And if you are gonna ask me about voice acting, wait for me to ask a poll, to make a poll about voice acting exclusively. Actually, I'm not gonna vote on something like that, because I don't have a preference. I actually don't have a preference when it comes to voice acting. Maybe in the beginning I preferred female V, but these days I don't care. I don't care. Alright. Should Cyberpunk 2 have destructible environments? Yes, 78% of people voted yes. We have some in Cyberpunk right now, in 2077. For example, that one which I put here. It's obviously from the very beginning of the game, whenever we fight the scavs to save Sandra Dorset. So that's one destructible wall. Then we have in Phantom Liberty, whenever we fight the Chimera. I think should be something they add in the next game. Of course, you'll not have fully destructible buildings like you have in Battlefield 6, I believe. But something similar to what we have in the first game, why not? Not exactly a must-have thing, really. Just some good optimization, fitting combat, and the story as good as they usually make them. Hmm. Doors, yes. Every wall, not that important. Of course, not every wall. One of my favorite parts of Phantom Liberty was the Chimera fight, partially because of the destroyed room when the fight was done. I don't want destruction like Battlefield, but cinematic destruction, yes please. Hmm. Watching Ballerina, it made me think they should add mercs that can hunt you. That's the Ballerina movie from the John Wick franchise, because I know there is another one. There is a Korean Ballerina. I watched both of them, but when it comes to the one from the John Wick verse, I think he's referencing the fact, or this person is referencing the fact that we have the main character using a bunch of grenades and a bunch of places explode, walls and stuff like that. The use of the grenades in that movie is really good, in my opinion, really cool. Something we've never seen before for sure. So I'd recommend that movie in my opinion. Right. When did you start playing Cyberpunk 2077? At launch, 38% out of 34,000 votes. So thank you to everyone who voted. 38% started on release. Only 38%. Wow. I'm saying only 38%, but it's still a good amount now. I started at launch. I started playing at launch. 13% of people during the Phantom Liberty patch. 16% of people during the Edge Runners patch. And 33% during a major patch or other. Other means at random or a sale, something like that. Depends. It encompasses every other option that is not present in the poll. Interesting. I saw it on sale on the EGS in June and thought, yeah, I wanted to play it in 2020 but didn't have the means to. Might as well give it a shot 5 years later since I avoided every possible spoiler, and boy is it worth any. Okay. I'm so hooked into this game and just can't get enough. Not to mention that there is an active fan base to get involved with and be rewarded for keeping engaged. I'm definitely playing 2077 well into the next year for sure. So there you have it. People definitely love Cyberpunk and they engage with it, and that's true. If you check, let me see. To check Steam charts, I think Cyberpunk is still up there. It's still up there, I think. More. Okay, so it has 23,000 people playing right now. I mean, let's see. All time. It went down a bit. Okay. So it has average players 34,000 in the last 30 days. Peak players 67,000. 67,000 peak players in the last 30 days. No, not bad, no? Not bad. For a single player game, definitely not bad. Where is the announcement of the... This is the announcement of patch 0.31, I believe, or the release of that patch. 83,000. So it went down only by 14,000. Honestly, that is impressive for a single player game 5 years after the release to have a peak player base of 67,000 people and an average player base of 34,000. Very popular game. I think the idea that they continued working on it, releasing stuff well after the release of Phantom Liberty is what kept this popularity up. And probably also the fact that actually, I'm not gonna say that. That's kind of controversial. 67,000 people. Not bad. Not bad at all. Literally started playing 4 weeks ago. Still playing to this night. Generally one of the best games I've ever played, and it's by a long shot. Played on launch on the PS4. Ooh. Literally the worst way to experience the launch. Only gave it a chance when I got a PC upgrade 2 years later and seen Edgerunners. Yep. As far as I remember, it was so bad, actually borderline unplayable. Unplayable, so bad it was taken off the PlayStation Store. That's how bad it was. People were asking for a bunch of refunds. Really bad. Honestly, I'm happy they were able to fix it. Launch, I remember just powering through and wanting to free roam. I didn't have any serious bugs, but I do remember trees and bushes phasing through walls and backgrounds. I don't remember having... I think I had that at one point. I remember the trees would go from one side and then sort of fade and blur. That's something I remember having. I remember a bunch of black holes, I would call them, because you would fall through the map. I remember I would go on edges, on small edges, and I would die out of nowhere. Which definitely felt like I was beta testing the game. Then I remember during the gig or mission quest with whatever his name is, the cop. He's so irrelevant, I don't remember his name. Wow, the name escapes me. There is an elevator, you go down to a secret club, and I used to fall through that elevator. So many times it happened, actually. I may have a video about that. River, yeah, that's his name. River. Wow, he's so irrelevant. I started at launch. It wasn't the bugs that stopped me, but the story didn't grab me at first. Came back about 8 months later, I think, and was hooked. So how does that work? You are interested in the story, or you are not interested in the story at first, but then 8 months later you are? That's kind of interesting, no? I think I could say that's been the case for me whenever I was browsing TikTok a lot. I still kind of do it, but not as much as I used to. And my brain was fried, and so whenever I was thinking about playing a story game, I would get bored instantly. That's maybe an idea, no? Ooh, now here we have a controversial question, no? I don't know, probably. Do you think CD Projekt Red should continue hiring famous actors for major roles? Examples: Keanu Reeves, Idris Elba. 30,000 votes, so thank you to everyone who voted. Yes, 68%. No, 6%. 25% maybe. The trick is hiring the right actors. They did well with Keanu and Idris, but it could easily go into gimmick territory. I don't know, I think Keanu did an amazing job, and so did Elba, but them being famous is only a small part of why we like the characters. Sure, but they got famous because they are good, no? And because of that, now they have a huge audience which can be interested in more of their works. So it's not only the fact that they are good actors, it's also the fact that they bring the audience to be interested in the lore or in the game. There are multiple things which benefit the idea of having a popular actor work on your character, as far as I see it, even though it's very expensive from what I heard. Oh, I don't mind it as long as it doesn't turn into an invincible situation where they spend half the budget on celebrities, and famous actors for like 2 lines of dialogue and then leave the animators to rot. In case you don't know, the animation in Invincible is not that great. It's bearable, you can watch it, it's a very good show, but I think this person is right. Most of the money went on famous people to voice act. So yeah, I kind of feel bad for the animators. Reeves and Elba is that they are really good actors. Quality before fame. I don't want to see The Rock or Jack Black in the next Cyberpunk game. Actually, Jack Black might be fun. Maybe. I think Jack Black is pretty cool, no? The Rock got his fame from WWE and then he went into acting. So he did not get his fame for being a very good actor. I mean, you could say that WWE is acting, but it's definitely not the acting where you have a lot of range, no? Definitely not as much as you have in Cyberpunk. Jack Black? Of course I want Kung Fu Panda to be part of the next game. That's actually a good idea. Thank you for bringing up this name. So if the next game doesn't have Jack Black in it, it's absolutely a 4 out of 10. It's simply how it is. Sorry guys. Project Red, I know you're watching my streams because I'm very important. Someone is actually gonna believe what I say and they are gonna take it seriously. And is gonna attack me for what I say. I'm joking, guys. I'm a joker. But I'm still very important, so CD Projekt Red, please fix. Do you think Reaper Dogs should have specific cyberware in Cyberpunk 2? 28,000 votes. I had to add a bit of context to this because some people were thinking about totally different ideas. For a bit more context, this is how it used to be before update 2.0, where for example the epic charge jump was available for purchase only from Fingers, whereas now everyone has the cyberware and it can be upgraded. Lockdown Reapers have unique cyberware in 2077, but what if in the next game, besides the basic cyberware, some of them can also have unique stuff? 74% voted yes. They want unique stuff. And that makes sense. I think Fingers having the very good double jump, why not? That's a good idea in my opinion. Even if people dislike the character, why not? Depends, maybe. Depends. We'll have to wait and see. So most of the people would like the basic stuff to be on every Reaper dog, and I agree. definitely. But they should all have something unique. Hmm. I'm not gonna open this thread because I know it's controversial. I wouldn't mind if they each had an iconic piece that represented their personality. Maybe they could give conditions or quests to unlock them, but locking the useful generic stuff behind them was a terrible idea. I never said they should lock the generic stuff, so they shouldn't do that. The generic stuff should be on all of them. Otherwise, it wouldn't make much sense. Okay, so there you have it. I saw a bunch of people in the past who wanted to work for Trauma Team, and why not? I said I'm gonna ask a question at one point, so that's what I did here. 28,000 votes, so thank you to everyone who voted. Would you like to join Trauma Team in Cyberpunk 2 as part of a quest, life path, or anything else? The images used for the second and third answer are from the official Cyberpunk comic Trauma Team, which by the way is pretty good. 75% voted yes. That's interesting, no? Trauma Team have the coolest faction design in the game to me, so yeah, most definitely. Being a Trauma Team mercenary has some opportunity for really interesting world building. Only the wealthiest people can afford that kind of protection, so you will end up in some pretty morally grey situations where you might save some pretty horrible people. An NCPD life path would be interesting. Huh. Yeah. Definitely. In the next game, something like this would be interesting. Trauma Team? What do you think? Do you think this is something they should look into? Project Red? Maybe. We'll have to wait and see. Now, this is a question born out of that kind of controversial comment section. Did you punch or eliminate fingers in your playthrough? 80% voted yes out of 43,000 votes. So thank you to everyone who voted. And the post, all of the comments, most of them highlight this answer. Most of them voted yes. I've seen some people saying questionable stuff about those who would avoid punching him or eliminating fingers. Up to your opinion. Want to punch him or eliminate him? Do whatever you want. I don't think I did it. I think I shot him once, but not in my main playthrough. I never saw a reason. I don't like to... My character had morality. I know, kind of not the thing of a cyberpunk world or of Night City, but my character in the first playthrough had some morality. And I thought punching a weak person who cannot defend themselves, that's not what I want to do. And so I didn't do it. Same goes for eliminating them. Why would I do it? There are worse people than fingers who we give a pass. Or who we do not punch, you know? But again, each to their own. If they want to do it, so be it. Ooh. This one I like. I like this question. But I've seen people who asked or who said that the question is bad because Cyberpunk is gonna be released way into the future. So the idea is that will you play GTA 6 or are you waiting for Cyberpunk 2? GTA 6 is gonna be released next year in 2026, unless they are not delaying it again. I don't know. And so that is only a PS6 launch, or PS5, excuse me, a PS5 launch, not a PC launch. The PC version is probably gonna be released a year later in the best case scenario. Maybe years later. Who knows? So I thought to myself, are people gonna wait for the PC version? Are people gonna play GTA, or are they gonna wait for Cyberpunk? Or are they gonna play both of them? That's why I asked this question, which received 48,000 votes. So thank you to everyone who voted. And here we have 52% of people are gonna play both of them. 31% are waiting for Cyberpunk 2. 12% voted yes, I will play GTA 6. That means only GTA 6, no? We'll probably play both, but not at release. Ironically, Cyberpunk taught me why pre-ordering in the digital area or digital age is a bad idea. We'll play both after release, patches, mods, build up. Okay. We'll play both, but more excited for Cyberpunk 2. Remember guys, don't play at release. Usually you get the game cheaper and definitely more polished later on. Even far cheaper. That's pretty true. This is another person who doesn't know how to read the poll. I mean, more people are playing both of them. Anyways, I will play only Cyberpunk. I will wait for Cyberpunk probably. I have never I did play. For a bit, briefly. I played a bit of San Andreas, a bit of Vice City, a bit of GTA 5. A bit it means maybe an hour of GTA 5, maybe 10 hours of San Andreas, and maybe 3 hours of Vice City or 2 hours of Vice City. That's basically all I played. So GTA 6 is definitely not the ultimate game for me. I'm excited for Witcher 4. Maybe I'll play GTA 5 at one point, but for now I'm waiting for Cyberpunk 2. I have seen a bunch of people comparing the games to whenever Cyberpunk was released. So, yeah. Do you pre-order games nowadays? This is Cartman from South Park. And it's a reference to one episode where he talks about pre-orders. It's a Black Friday episode. And I'll not spoiling. I will not spoil it because I think it's a very good episode. I think yeah, it's a 3-episode arc. You will definitely like it if you watch it. And 25,000 votes. Thank you to everyone who voted. No, 65% of people do not pre-order games. 3% of people voted yes, and 31% of people voted depends. I mean, only some games. Last game I pre-ordered was Cyberpunk 2077. Me too. I think that's the last game I pre-ordered. No, I pre-ordered the expansion as well. Pre-orders in this economy? That's true. Big true. Not anymore, I'm not pre-ordering. Actually, I'm not gonna say that on stream. Sometimes, but very rarely. Last game I can remember was Kingdom Come Deliverance. The second one. But I loved the first and trusted the studio. It's rare I trust the studio. Ooh, now this is a controversial comment. No pre-orders is a mantra that every gamer should be legally required to have tattooed somewhere on their body in perpetuity. Do you agree with that? Now that is a crazy line in my opinion. People really hate pre-orders. Wow. I don't think I would do it. Even if legally required. Only from devs I have confidence in. Kojima and Remedy are some for me. Kojima? I will say something extremely controversial. People will attack me on the street. I mean, ninjas already attacked me in the past. By the way, guys, do you remember that time I told you whenever I fought 5 ninjas? All true. And so it will happen again after I say what I want to say. And I believe Kojima nowadays is a bit overrated. And I'm saying that thinking that many people don't even know what the guy released. Many people haven't even played his games, but they see all of these people basically praising Kojima all the time, so they are doing it as well. Maybe I'm wrong about this. Maybe I'm also clueless about what he released. But I watched some gameplay of... and I know, already saying I watched gameplay is giving away the fact that I haven't played it. Death Stranding, I think it's a walking game, a walking simulator. The story, you could say it's kind of interesting, but as I see it, a walking simulator. Alright. Are you going to play Dawnwalker made by CD Projekt Red or people who used to work for CD Projekt Red? 61% voted maybe. 20,000 votes. Thank you to all who voted it. Who voted, by the way. Many people never heard of it, and I'm honestly sad I did not add a 4th option. This is a question which was born out of a suggestion, and I was curious to see how many people are interested in this game. First time I've heard of it, honestly. Literally never heard of it. So yeah, honestly, I should have added an option for that, but 150 comments, many people will play it, many people are interested in it, but most, I would say, don't know about it. The game looks great. I didn't like Witcher, so no. Ooh, a clown emoji. A clown emoji to that comment. Look at this clown who has different taste than me. That's a go-to answer, not gonna lie. That's not gonna lie. Not gonna lie. Wait and see always. Worst case scenario, I get a good game after it's been out a little while. Always better than being disappointed with a bad game. Trailer 1 looked pretty cool. Need to see more of it before I can decide though. There is a gameplay footage as well. There is gameplay footage. So yeah, definitely something to keep in mind next year. Because Witcher is probably gonna be released in 2027. But we'll have to wait and see. Do you watch game trailers or avoid them to stay spoiler free? 34,000 votes. Thank you to everyone who voted. 31% voted I watch them, 12% avoid them, 56% voted depends, and 1% have another answer. I still find it hilarious that Cyberpunk trailers literally spoiled the entire first act. Yeah. Kind of true. As in the final version of the game, T-Bug does not betray us. That's a difference. He's already dead by the time we meet Dex. Because in the trailer, she is there in the room. Kind of wondering what were they thinking about whenever they made the trailer. Because in my eyes, to me, based on what they previously released, Witcher 3, through this trailer, they sold the idea that this is only one outcome out of many outcomes. But I was disappointed whenever in the final version of the game, you cannot prevent Jackie's death, and no matter what, Dex is gonna betray you. No matter what, you're gonna fail the heist. So yeah, I was a bit disappointed by that. I definitely thought they were playing into that. The only trailer I remember having horrible spoilers, is in the trailer was Kingdom Hearts 3. They showed you almost the entire game over the course of a few years. Never seen it, I don't know. Maybe. Playing a game for the first time that you barely know anything about it is an awesome experience, especially when it turns out to be a really good game. Yes, I can see that. I mean, I don't avoid them, but I don't often seek them out on my own. For me, to do that, I would have to be a hardcore fan of the series or the person or studio making it. But that doesn't happen often. Okay. Depends. Although when it comes to movies, I always dug those to the best of my ability. Too many trailers are giving you entire scenes now. That's actually true. I remember seeing this one movie trailer, and after seeing it, I thought to myself, well, I know enough about it. Good enough. I don't remember which one it was, but I know that the comment section was full of, thank you guys, I don't have to pay to watch this movie now, or something along those lines. I watched them after completing the game. I usually play story-based games blind. That's how I got into Cyberpunk. Didn't hear, didn't see, didn't care, I just played the game. You know you are going to play or watch something, the trailer only spoils you. So there are a bunch of people who believe that the trailer spoils you. I also kind of believe that. Depends on the trailer. If it's a gameplay trailer, it can spoil you as well. Depends. I would like to watch gameplay of a game before I buy it, that's for sure. Now, a question that was born out of what people were talking about in the previous games, about waiting for a game to be released for a while before they think about buying it. And so we have a question saying, do you usually buy games at launch or wait for discounts? And only 3% of people buy games at launch. First we have Gaben. These are images taken from the one video they did for Dota, the release of some kind of voice pack, or they were working on that and they made a skit for it. Pretty cool video, funny. And so those are images taken from that video. I made a general question, so I took something related to gaming, is more general, right? More generally known. 35% of people wait for discounts, and 62% of people say that it depends. So they buy at launch, but only for specific games which they like, yeah? That's basically it. Indie games I never mind buying full price, especially since they are usually pretty inexpensive and almost always worth the money. AAA devs have to earn it. Indie devs get rewarded for getting to the finish line. Honestly, I like this line a lot because indie devs, they work so much, it's actually crazy. So yeah, I like this line a lot. Okay, let me like. I'm not gonna say that on stream, but I know what that is. I wait for user reviews. Two examples of how it depends in my case. Bought Baldur's Gate 3 on launch, and 3 weeks later got a digital deluxe add-on. Bought Cyberpunk 2077 in 2025, and had a great experience with main game, DLC, and lots of mods and fixes. Some stuff just has to have its time. I always wait a while, not only for the hope of discounts, but mainly because most games are always in a state of bugs or imbalances. Wait a while, the devs have proper time to address the issues. Like Kratos says, depends on the game and the studio. Did he actually say that? Depends what game? When it comes to Borderlands games, I pre-order them. Was it the last Borderlands kind of a failure? I don't know. I only saw a few people commenting on that. Of course, people will choose the safest option in the poll. Safest in what sense? I bought Silksong full price. I also bought other full-priced games at huge discounts. This is Devil May Cry, no? For 15 euros through a charity promotion. Usually wait for sale but may buy one game a year on release, depending. That's something I do. I usually do that. I usually buy one massive game, major release, in a year if I think it's pretty good and I want to play it for a prolonged period of time. I mostly buy on discounts if I think that I'm gonna play a game, but later on. I just bought Ghost of Yotei and it's amazing so far. Usually I don't get games at launch. Honestly, I'm hoping that it's gonna be added on PC because I want to play it as well. But I haven't finished Ghost of Tsushima, so I have to finish that as well. If it's more than $40 when it got out, it's on the wait list. If it's more than 30 euros, I'll wait. Most of the time I wait for discounts. I'm poor and I have to wait for discounts? Makes sense. I'm too poor to buy games? Unless the game is already cheap, I'm waiting for a big discount. Interesting. Some valid answers here. I wait for user reviews, I read that already. So yeah, there you have it. Many people wait for discounts, for different reasons, of course. Some share the same reason, but otherwise I think pretty valid, no? And the last question of the day. Another general question, I'm gonna ask more of these, it seems like people really like them. People actually like these general questions and I'm all for it. If you have suggestions, again, Feel free to ask them in the comment section of any of my posts I make. If I get a notification, I'm definitely gonna read it, and I will definitely consider your comment for a poll. Why not, I mean. General questions that have a wide audience related to the to gaming, cyberpunk related, that kind of stuff. Have you watched any live action adaptation of a video game? 20,000 votes. Thank you to everyone who voted. 78% voted yes. I added this image because, well, I found it and then I edited it. I edited it a bit. I added Warcraft because that's what I remembered. I watched Warcraft, I watched The Last of Us, and I watched Fallout out of these. And so, for sure, there are multiple other options. It's not only these four. But again, 78% of people voted yes, 19% voted no, and 3% didn't even know about them. I'm very surprised about that. The OG Mario movie. Fallout was goated, yep, I agree. Fallout the TV show was really good in my opinion. I think I made a video where I gave it a 10 out of 10 on my third channel. It's gonna be a 2-season show in December. They are gonna release a second season for Fallout on December 17th, I believe. I highly recommend that people watch it. Definitely watch the first season, and if you like it, then for sure you'll move on to the second one. I believe many people will like it. I thought it was really good. Again, I repeat myself by saying that, but very good stuff. Absolutely amazing. There is so much into that. Yeah, I'll probably rewatch it before I watch the second season. That's how much I liked it. Resident Evil. I kept seeing trailers of that, but never actually watched it. Cyberpunk Edgerunners. That's not a live action, no? Have you watched live action? Proceeds to talk about anime? Yeah, I mean, I asked about live actions. I was thinking about asking about any game adaptation, but this one was specifically related to live actions. The first season of The Last of Us was Lightning in a Bottle. Lightning. First season of The Last of Us was okay, great, was pretty good. It was pretty good. The second one, much like the game, was questionable, but even more questionable than the game in certain areas. I watched Warcraft, Slender, Five Nights at Freddy's Arcane, but that's not live action, Assassin's Creed, Edgerunners, not live action, and a couple more I can't remember right now for some reason. Yeah. Maybe I should have had this in all caps. Maybe that way people would understand that this is a live action adaptation question. Personally, I don't remember what I watched other than the three I mentioned. Probably watched a bit of the Assassin's Creed movie. Assassin's Creed. Silent Hill. I regret 99% of them. Ooh. So Prince of Persia. So that's actually a movie related to a game? I mean, I know there is a game, but I never knew that it was a movie related to a game. I thought there were books or something, novels. Okay, that's interesting. So there is another movie, another live action adaptation I watched of a video game, because I watched Prince of Persia, The Sands of Time multiple times. I really liked it. So there you have it. The last question of the list for this month. It definitely helps that I get to get used to speaking a lot in English, something I generally never do other than streams, you know. It's definitely a good exercise for me. Again, I will say something I mentioned in the beginning of the stream. If you want me to ask a question or something like that, you can leave suggestions in the comment section of all of my posts, videos, shorts. If I see them, then I will consider them for a poll. Why not? Again, on this channel, on the Default Daniel S channel, I ask a bunch of questions. Every single day I ask a question here in the posts tab related to gaming in general, related to Cyberpunk, and people generally like them. And I thank every single one of you who decided to vote and comment. With that being said,